I have put myself in a lot of high pressure gaming situations in the past, and I enjoy competitive games. I've cut my teeth on stuff like Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom, and I am just comfortable. I am more comfortable in that type of situation, or at least I have experience in those situations, so I don't get anxious in that way. Just because, by virtue of me having been in high pressure gaming situations all the time, that I'm just comfortable with it. Like, I am comfortable enough to play Tetris 99, competing in the top 10, while also trying to maintain the conversation. So that I think that says a lot about where my head is at. And I think it's, you know, being anxious in a competitive game is certainly a thing that the vast majority of people experience, because you want to win, you don't want to lose, you are under a lot of stress. You know, the game gets faster, the stakes get higher, and you're like, oh man, I want to win, I don't want to lose. And really the best way to cope with that is just to put yourself in that position as many times as you can, to the point where you don't necessarily think about the nerves anymore, and it's just a matter of, you know, continuing to do the thing, continue to play the game the way you always have. And like, I've also competed in IRL tournaments. That's how we got the karate gi hanging up here when I won that Street Fighter tournament. And that's a different beast in and of itself. And when I competed, like, I'd played thousands of online matches, but when I competed in my first IRL Street Fighter tournament, I was insanely nervous, incredibly nervous. And it took me years of playing in tournaments to get comfortable with the idea of playing in front of a live audience against some of the best players in the world, in playing on stream, right? I got dunked on stream repeated. The first time I was on stream, I played in a Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I was up against the guy who ended up winning the tournament, who is world renowned as one of the best players of that game, and he absolutely destroyed me. And, you know, thousands of people watch me get destroyed on that stream, and that was very uncomfortable, but, you know, you continue to play the game and just try and focus on winning. I think the stuff on here, confession, the stuff that makes me anxious when I'm here streaming, the two things that make me anxious, well, okay, there's a couple of things that make me anxious when I stream. One, when the view count is at 0, which it hasn't been in a long time. I appreciate you all for being here and you know, feeling like hanging out with me is the best use of your time. That's awesome, and I hope I deliver on that every time I stream. When I was still coming up and that view count was at 0, that would make me anxious. I didn't like the experience of, you know, streaming to 0, because it felt like I'm inviting the entire universe to come hang out with me, and literally nobody in the world cares. That stressed me out. Other things that stress me out now, when I have nothing to say, if I go for, you know, 20 seconds, for example, without saying anything, then I'm freaking out. Like, oh my god, I'm not delivering as a streamer, as an entertainer. When viewers come in, they just see this guy like sitting here playing video games and not saying anything. And, you know, first impressions are important, especially on Twitch. Like, generally speaking, people make a first impression about anything within 7 seconds or less. On Twitch, it's probably even faster. And I hate the idea of people coming to the stream and just seeing me sit here just like, I you know, like that is a lot of streams on Twitch. IMO, I don't think most people are interested in watching that. And I don't want to be part of that, and I don't want that to be my stream. So I get anxious when I go through extended stretches where I don't know what to say, or I've got nothing to say. I think as a streamer, it's always best to keep talking. And the other thing that makes me anxious while I stream is when the chat isn't moving. I think that I take great pride in being able to run a stream where you guys feel compelled to be a part of the conversation. And when the chat isn't moving, I get anxious, even if in certain cases where the game that I'm playing or the conversations that I'm having aren't conducive to that type of interaction. So for example, when I was streaming Among Us, like that game makes me anxious when I stream because the chat doesn't move. The chat doesn't move when I play Among Us, and that's not necessarily because it's bad. Like the numbers were good when we were streaming Among Us, but it's because the entertainment is watching my friends and I play and trying to figure out who's sus, who's doing the thing, and that becomes more about watching the streamer rather than partaking in the conversation, and that's just kind of the way it is. Even so, that still makes me uncomfortable. So those are the things that make me uncomfortable. The winning and the losing, not so much. Yes, I will throw... And yeah, this is where Yin says, yeah, but you threw your controller playing Pac-Man. And yeah, I will get salty, but that's not... Ultimately, the winning and the losing while I'm playing here on stream is not as important to me as, you know, making a show that people enjoy watching and being a part of. All right, we got that line here. Bang. Set that up for a T-spin later. Hopefully we can get to that. Yes, there we go. We're laughing. Top 10. We are getting bombed really hard here by someone. I wonder who that is. Okay. Down. I don't know if I like that. Here, we get that T-spin going. That clears that out of the way. That's great. Okay. Take that 2. Top 3! Let's go. Okay, lock in. Just stack these blocks. Top 2. Got him! Got him! About time we did the thing. About time we did it. But we finally got there. GG's. And you know what time it is then.
Game over.
Let's drop this paper. Finally, getting that win. Got it. Even Cat Jam's rocking with me right now. Gotta
love it. Gotta love it. Who is in here? The tryhard does it again.